Hello, and welcome to an overview of Chapter 3, Tourism Policy and Organizations. For this chapter, the learning objectives are to identify the reasons for government involvement and the roles of government in tourism, describe the elements of a tourism policy model, and explain the roles of tourism organizations at various levels. As you probably already know, governments are the primary regulators of industry in any given jurisdiction, be it a country, state, county, or city. As such, governments also get involved with the tourism industry. There are several reasons why they might be involved, but they generally fall into one of these three categories. First, government agencies get involved for political reasons. Why do I say that? International travel involves crossing national boundaries, flying over national airspace, and sailing in sovereign waters. Who is going to control the entry and exit of international visitors? Who decides visa policy as to who gets in and who doesn't? These and other similar matters are all responsibilities undertaken by legislative bodies. Furthermore, encouraging overseas visitors to a country or region can help foster international relationships as well as enhance the image of a country or city. This is one reason why countries will compete to host such prestigious events like the Olympics or World Cup. The bids for these events are led by national and local governments. Natural resources can be and are a major attraction for visitors. Think about the Great Barrier Reef in Australia or the Grand Canyon in the USA, for example. It is incumbent on the government to protect its resources and ensure that natural and man-made attractions are not loved to death by too many visitors, or having regulations that are too lax and don't protect the resources from the stresses of too much development. Thirdly, because tourism is big business and has the potential to generate revenue, lots of revenue, create jobs, and provide economic diversification in an area, a government will definitely get involved to channel the development of tourism. In what way do governments get involved? This slide lists 8 roles of government in the tourism industry, from coordination to legislation to infrastructure development, marketing and research, and in some cases, governments even get involved with tourism training and education. Please refer to your textbook for details on each of these roles. As noted in the previous slide, one of the major ways governments get involved in the tourism industry is by formulating policy. The elements of a tourism policy model are listed here, and your book provides an example of the tourism policy for the United Kingdom. Let's look at a variety of governmental and non-governmental agencies that get involved with tourism. At the global level, you are already familiar with the UNWTO, or United Nations World Tourism Organization, since it was introduced in the overview of the tourism system video as a specialized body of the United Nations. WTTC is the World Travel and Tourism Council. Here's their website, which mainly performs economic research and analysis of tourism in the majority of countries of the world. You'll become even more familiar with UNWTO and WTTC as you work through the tourism data research assignment for this week. UNESCO stands for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, which also oversees the World Heritage Foundation and World Heritage Sites. We will take a closer look at UNESCO in Chapter 4. Your book goes into more detail about other global organizations as well as regional tourism organizations. You will want to be familiar with those as well. On the U.S. side, you've already been introduced to the U.S. Travel Association, which is the primary tourism organization at the national level in the United States. It was mentioned before, but bears repeating, that U.S. Travel is a non-profit association and not a government agency. An important fact to remember is that the U.S. and I've noted it here, the U.S. is the only major country without a fully funded NTO. That means National Tourism Organization. Funding for a government agency in the USA was ceased in the mid-1990s due to budget constraints. However, in 2009, President Obama signed the Tourism Promotion Act, authorizing funds for a public-private partnership to promote travel to the USA. With the U.S. Travel Association as the driving force, along with corporate partners from all sectors of the tourism industry, the Brand USA initiative was formed. Let's take a look at the mission of Brand USA. Here's their website. And if we look at About, and their mission is to encourage increased international visitation to the United States and to grow America's share of the global market. In doing so, we aim to bring millions of new international visitors who spend billions of dollars to the United States, creating tens of thousands of new American jobs. Excuse me. We will move that. The next slide shows the respective roles of the U.S. Travel Association and Brand USA and how they represent the travel industry to not only the Secretary of Commerce, but also the entire U.S. Congress. You can see here on the left, Brand USA's mission is to promote, while U.S. Travel is to advocate. They are speaking on behalf of the travel and tourism industry to not only the Department of Commerce, but also the entire U.S. Congress on issues affecting the U.S. travel industry. You will want to take a good look at this slide, as there will definitely be a question or two on the weekly quiz regarding the roles of these organizations. Your book outlines the supply and demand side roles of national tourism organizations, and I've included them on this slide. If you look at the demand side roles regarding facilitating inbound international travel, conducting marketing research, marketing inbound international travel, and representing the nation's tourism in foreign countries, and then take a look at the U.S. Travel Association mission, as well as, we just looked at Brand USA's. U.S. Travel on a mission to increase travel to and within the United States. So you can see that the mission of both of these organizations are in direct alignment with the demand side roles outlined here. This slide lists various roles for regional and local tourism organizations. It's important to note that while organizations at the national level facilitate international visitors to their country, state and local entities primarily deal with promoting domestic tourism, which includes visits by citizens to their locations. I would take extra note of this because there will be a question like this on the weekly quiz. Let's take a look at Texas. Here's the website for economic development and tourism for Texas. You will see, that's the landing page, you will see links to two different sites, traveltex.com, which is a consumer site, and the other is for industry, the industry site of Texas Tourism. We will examine TravelTex a bit later in the term. Let's take a look at the industry site. The state of Texas is fortunate to have a well-funded tourism office. Travel research reports, including the economic impact of tourism to Texas, as noted here, is including the economic impact is in one section of the website. We can also find the Texas Tourism Marketing Plan, including the current strategic tourism plan for the state of Texas. These are all readily available here. I just mentioned that state governments mainly deal with promoting tourism to citizens of the USA, but there are lesser funds available. There are some money being spent available for going after foreign markets. So we can see here that Texas also has a marketing plan for some of the foreign markets. And if we take a look at Australia, for example, Texas is being promoted as a tourism destination to Australians via trade shows that are outlined here. Finally, I would like to show you the website of the Greater Houston Convention and Visitors Bureau. The web address is visithoustontexas.com and is used primarily as a marketing tool. Let's go to the website. Okay, it's taking a moment to load. Here we go. This is obviously the consumer site, visithoustontexas.com. And we have to actually scroll all the way down to actually find information about the Greater Houston Convention and Visitors Bureau on itself, by itself. And this is actually the same as this landing page here. The GHCVB, Greater Houston Convention and Visitors Bureau, is the primary sales and marketing arm of the City of Houston in Harris County. The mission of the GHCVB is to improve the economy of Greater Houston by attracting conventions, tourists, and film projects to the area through sales and marketing efforts. We will look closer at the marketing messages. We will look closer at the marketing messages of these various tourism promotion organizations a bit later this term. For now, I'd like to thank you for your attention and remind you that Week 2's quiz will have questions from this video PowerPoint. Thank you very much.